And good Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock, second part, round two, Chip Matthews Show. This one with Jamie Creel. Yeah,
Which word?
I would go with this one. No, find this one where this one
Okay.
goes.
All right.
That's Andrew Gosser, and then the one you had.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go. And good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Jamie Creel there. And then, of course, y'all, it is a voting day, so get out and vote. Madison County Justice Court Judge. And then we're also, part of Madison County is in the District 24 election. So the voting precincts in District 3 are Lake Caroline Clubhouse Vertical Church, St. Joe Catholic Church, Parkway Pentecostal, Twin Lakes Baptist, China Grove AME Church, Ferns Chapel Free Will Baptist here in Flora, and at Franklin Baptist here in Flora. Y'all get out and vote in the election. Make a good choice. And that's that. Do you vote in this area?
No, sir.
No, me neither.
Yep.
Me neither. Not. But people need to get out and vote. We're voting for a Justice Court Judge, and you need to get out and vote. That's that. You can vote for Karen, or you can vote for Mitch Steiner.
It's important.
But anyway.
Yep.
So Jamie Creel, you've been out vacationing.
Yeah, that's right. Battling these stones, boy.
Yeah, and they weren't the Rolling Stones. So now we're dealing with this school choice school education bill. The education freedom is what they're calling it, right?
That's right.
House Bill what?
Well, one of them's 1435. There's several of them.
So now we would say something has been put on paper.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
I looked it up this morning. There's a couple of things out there, that's not getting a lot of traction. We've always been told every time we've had someone who has a different view on this than you and I have, that overwhelmingly, and what's being told, overwhelmingly 70% of the population is for this.
No.
And man, I haven't met 10 people for it.
Well, that's why they leaked it out. I mean, if they kept it in, it's also amazing to me that they didn't keep this inside just the politicians and leave all of us out, because the politicians are out trying to get us involved to agree with what they're getting beaten the head with by the people that lobby people. And the lobbyists want a school choice education freedom bill passed. But I don't think the masses, the people, really want it. I mean, you would love to have it to go to your private school or this, that, and the other, and have your money follow you. But the reality is the whole system needs to be blown up and put back together.
It does. Everybody keeps mentioning all the states that are having success with this. And, if you Google the school choice with Mississippi's neighboring states, it's not good things. And you have, it talks about Arkansas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, and the financial burdens that's being placed on these states right now doing this. To me, and we've talked about this all along, you have to have a plan. You just can't say we're going to do this and not have every I dotted and every T crossed.
I mean, because they look at it from the standpoint of, we're going to budget education. We're going to fix it to where people can go where they want, because everything is wonderful. Yet every government agency that I've ever heard of in the state of Mississippi is underfunded. So if it's underfunded, and we know the teachers every year are asking for more money, how can this be? How can we do this when we know that to do this the way that it was originally being put out was going to take money out of the system?
Yeah.
Lots of money.
Well, they've pretty much squashed the public to private, or opening up the funds. And by doing that, basically save the state the $350 million.
Right.
Obviously, what I told you from day one it would take to fund that whole deal, because there's no way you couldn't give those kids monies. We know that, that, everybody. I mean, and they say, oh, if they were already in there, they wouldn't receive money. That's bull crap. We know that too. You know, there's so many facets to this. You have the educational component, you have the financial component, you have the accountability component. I'm actually going on a show tomorrow down in South Mississippi about the athletic component of this.
Right.
How it messes with that. And you talking about a disastrous nightmare.
I mean, because you're going to have some great running back in some A, what would you say, in an A district or I'm not an A district.
7A, what
A 7A,
or
a 7A,
1A, yeah.
7A looking at a 1A guy that's 7 feet tall and
Mhm.
and 240 pounds and runs 100 yards in 8 seconds. And they're going to say, we're fixing to get that guy to come to our school.
Well, let me just explain to you this, Chip, if you'll let me,
Okay.
on the athletic end. So my kids are part of Region 7 2A.
Right.
Okay. And the difference between 2A enrollment and 1A enrollment is 5 students.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have the bottom of 2A, the top of 1A is 5 students. Well, the difference in the top 20 of 2A versus the highest 1A is about 8 students. So everybody's following along those lines.
Right.
Well, you have the open enrollment come along, okay, where they can transfer public to public like this. And this school over here says, oh, we can take 25 of them. That bumps them up from a 1A past a 2A into a 3A, but still competing at 1A. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does.
I mean, if they just take on 25 to 30 kids, and that's not a whole lot of kids. I mean, that's 6 kids per class, you know, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, or 7 kids per class. I mean, that right there alone would push them up 2 classes in the classifications with the High School Activity Association and basically lead to unfair competition. And that's not what we want.
and the
for our kids.
and the 7A would be destroying a 3A.
Well,
But the 3A, the 3A would now be a bigger school.
Well,
but it's not.
It would take more for a 3A to get to a 4A, 5A. It's when and those smaller schools. So if you had, let's just say you had 20 kids leave Brookhaven High School
Right.
and transfer into Lloyd Star where my kids go.
Right.
Okay. Just 20. That's not a whole lot.
Right.
Six per class, 9 through 12.
Right.
That would bump us up from a 1A to possibly a 3A.
Right.
Just that amount of kids right there.
Okay.
And which is not a whole lot. And it doesn't do anything with the numbers because the numbers are so large with Brookhaven. They're still 5A, right? But it does everything to that smaller school that's incorporating it. And what kind of pressure does that put on the MHSAA?
Right.
You know, I'm telling you, and I know we talked about this months ago. What is the realignment? How are you going to possibly do realignment every 2? You can't do it every 2 years if this goes on. You're going to have to do it every year, possibly every half year.
Because you got to be ready for the next year.
Yeah.
You can, because there's a need.
So these kids would have to determine, you know, the teachers having to determine in February. They would have to determine by dadgum now. I mean, November to clarify what they're going to do in order for the state to get their monies out there and get it transferred to the school that it's going to be going to. I mean, I'm telling you, and you see these schools like these 1A, 2A schools that jump up 20 kids at Christmas time, and now they're still competing at that lower level. It's just not fair for the rest of the kids.
That's right.
100%.
This whole thing needs to be looked at. I mean, that's just the athletic part.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot more to the athletic part. You know, the uniforms, the equipment, especially at smaller schools. You know, Madison Central, Germantown, Clinton. I mean, all those bigger schools, they have enough uniforms. They have enough helmets. They have, you know, they have surplus. I mean, they have multiple helmets that they can wear.
Right.
When you start getting down into the have-nots, the 3As, the 2As, the 1As, where the resources are just not there, it becomes more and more difficult. And you're not going to have uniforms or helmets, you know, to fit these kids, to uniform them correctly. And that's every sport, band, football, baseball. I mean, a whole 9 yards.
Everything suffers financially.
It does.
Okay, we're going to take a break and be back. We're on the Chip Matthews Show. Jamie Creel sitting in with us, talking school choice, education freedom. And if you've got something on your mind you want to call in and talk about, just give us a call and we'll talk about it. Sitting in with us, talking school choice, education freedom. And if you've got something on your mind you want to call in and talk about it, give us a call. We'll talk about it.
1039 WYAB.
Tri-County Tree Service, the Jackson Metro's premier company to handle all of your tree service needs. Russ Borland and his team specialize in large tree, low-impact removal. Tri-County Tree Service has the right equipment to safely handle the most technical trim jobs or tree removals. Storm damage can happen year-round, so let them clean it up and they'll deal with your insurance claim. Tri-County Tree Service, by phone at 601-TREE-GUY or online at tricotreeservice.com. That's tricotreeservice.com.
Craving something extraordinary in Jackson? Manship Restaurant is where your taste buds hit the jackpot. Join us for happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. where your wallet will thank you and your stomach will sing. Indulge in half-price wood-fired pizzas because why pay full price for half the fun? And for just $5, dive into our private barrel bourbon picks. That's right, luxury on a budget. Plus, beat the heat with our frozen drink specials, a tropical escape without the travel expenses. Make your way to the Manship where happy hour isn't just a time, it's an experience.
B-Dubs cocktails, pretzel knots, and mozzarella sticks. It's all on me today.
Oh, so you're happy hour rich. When the happy hour menu is only $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m.
$3 to $6, that's crazy.
You know we're at happy hour right now from 3 to 6 p.m.
It's happy hour crazy.
We were here yesterday too.
Crazy.
Quit playing. I'm gonna let you pay though. Food, beer, and cocktails for $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m. Buffalo Wild Wings for the greatest of all times. Monday through Friday only. Beer deals available all day at participating locations. Taxes and fees apply. Dine in only. Drink responsibly. Offers vary by location. Void where prohibited.
It's time to fall into savings at Mazda of Jackson. With ball games, road trips, and all the busyness, don't miss a thing. With 2.9% financing for 36 months on a new 2025 Mazda CX-5. Or get 2.9% financing for 63 months on the 2025 CX-90. 1-year maintenance is included on your new vehicle purchase. And take advantage of the pre-tariff inventory that's almost gone. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems. And now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty. And right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com. Here's a word from John White, the owner of Two Gun Tactical in Flowood and Ridgeland.
I carry a gun every day, all the time. Last year in America, 2 million legal guns were pulled and it stopped the threat. So I'm really wearing a firearm just to stop the threat. There's more likelihood of me just pulling it and not using it than there is using it. TwoGunTactical.com, TwoGunTactical.com.
Two Gun Tactical, the South's only country club.
Friday night lights, family, and a hot Johnny's Pizza House pizza on the table. Now, that's our kind of hustle. Make it a sweep the kitchen and bring everyone together. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice. Here in the South, we keep our football loud and our pizza loaded. Grab a Johnny's Pizza House, sweep the kitchen, and cheer on your hometown team. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
It is the Chip Matthews Show, heard right here on the 50,000-watt blowtorch, WYAB. Jamie Creel sitting in with me, and we're talking school choice, education, freedom. And I was just thinking, maybe we need to go back. How did we get to where we felt like we needed to even do this? Let's go back to the beginning when somebody thought about this and say, and try to catch people. When we advance down the line here, let's just go back and recap from the very beginning. Why in the world do they want to do this? And what was their goal? Their goal was to.
So why is there what is their goal to put the school choice in there? So I mean, it has to be financial reasons for someone,
right?
And now I get it, and this is the side I side with Leo.
Right.
I mean, there are kids out there with special needs that need additional resources,
right,
that can't be provided in their particular area, and I am all for, them going into another school district, which they can now.
Right. And I believe everybody would be in favor of that.
Yeah.
That's
to take care of those kids. you know, I know there's programs that are not recognized. I get all that, but somewhere down the line, trying to privatize education. And, I mean, we know, you know, everybody knows it's $1 trillion industry.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's the biggest
and
industry in the state.
it is. And people want their hands in it. And, you know, there's got to be people out there pushing an agenda somewhere, somehow, on how they can get their hands on these monies. If you look down in Florida, everybody says, well, look at the success Florida has. Well, look at the horror stories coming out of Florida too.
Well, I mean, you had just had the majority whip up here in Mississippi, and he was talking about education freedom and all of that they were talking about. They thought they were going to get a positive thing. He says, we can't fund it. And he said, we have $1 trillion budget.
So what happens, Chip, and this is rehashing too. So what happens when charter schools become a part of Mississippi, which they are, but more abundantly a part of Mississippi, and they become part of the state educational system, and we know it's privatized by outsiders. And let's just say, for instance, a guy comes in, builds a charter school in the Mississippi Delta.
Right.
And he has 4,000 students there, K through 12.
Right.
Okay. And man, all of a sudden this thing starts churning and the monies are coming in. And next thing you know, they deem this thing worth $35 million.
Right.
And he decides to sell the school for $35 million.
Right.
And then it goes bust. Then what do you have? You have nothing. I mean, it's,
there's no accountability in it.
There's no accountability in it. There's no rhyme or reason or any of that. It's just,
I mean, and I mean, if you're trying to privatize education, what would we say? How much of the state budget on annually goes to education? 30%, 40%, 50%?
At least, you know, it's the biggest.
It's the biggest.
Oh, 100%. That and Medicare, or Medicaid, whatever it is.
Which if they get their hands on that, they're, you know.
Yeah, those are the two biggest, to me, probably the two biggest line items.
And education, you know, education is important. It's the backbone of the state. It's the future of the kids. And that's the only thing, when you start talking about this, you got all this money we're talking about, but nobody's talking about what it does to educate the kid. And then we always know that there needs to be more money given to the teachers. Yeah. So none of it's trickling down to where it needs to get to. All the filters are in place where everybody can get rich at the top.
Well, I've heard some rumors here lately that DeSoto, which is the largest school district in Mississippi, 30,000+ kids, they've been able to just go above and beyond expectations and exceed expectations. I've heard that there's a possibility that we could be going to a one school district per county. That may be mentioned. Now, not to chase a rabbit or go down a rabbit hole or whatever, you know, you want to say, that would drastically change the way education looks in central Mississippi. I mean, what do you do in Hinds County? Or do you say, okay, JPS now comes a part of Hinds County, and now what's Clinton going to do?
Right.
You know, what's Pearl going to do? Being its own separate school district in Rankin County. You know, Pearl don't want to be messed with.
Pearl don't want to be
Neither does Clinton. That's right.
Pearl don't want to be Brandon. Brandon don't want to be Pearl. Richland don't want to be.
Well, you know, Richland's part of the Rankin.
Right.
And Northwest Rankin, Brandon, McLaurin,
Northwest.
Florence, Northwest, all those are part of the Rankin County School District. And then Pearl sits in the middle as its own separate school district, kind of like Clinton with Hinds County.
Right.
You know, they don't want to be messed with. They got a good thing going there. But, boy, you talking about and then what do? You just go up to Issaquena and create a school? Because
they have
school
nothing,
district, because there's no school district there. You know, what are you going to carve off of the astronaut engineers and architects that Clay talks about and get them from South Delta School and move them down to Issaquena?
I mean, you look at it there, you know, as much as I think they need to consolidate from county to county, I don't know how you do it the way that they want to do it. I mean, when you just say you're going to take Madison County and say, okay, Canton, Madison County, Ridgeland, y'all all together now.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
well, Ridgeland and Madison, you know, they're all part
together.
of the Madison. But I forgot about Canton. No, so now Canton separate school district gets dissolved and those kids get dispersed, more than likely they'd probably go to Germantown, and
ain't no room there.
Yeah, I mean, well, they would consolidate the school, and what would happen is they would bring kids in from Germantown, based on where they live, redrawing the districts or whatever, and have to dissolve that school out,
and then you'd also have some kids going to Belma Jackson.
Yes,
Camden, I mean, yeah. it would be. It's a mess. They created a mess. They haven't worked on the mess, and that's why I keep saying y'all really need to think this thing through, because 82 districts is better than 140 districts or whatever we have right now. But there's another system out there we need to look at, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I think that's where we're at. I mean, because if you did a district that was, if you cut it up like the congressional districts that are the way they currently sit, now the congressional districts are going to change as soon as the Supreme Court rules that you can't draw districts based on race.
Yeah.
So that's going to change. But I will admit that in Benny Thompson's current district, in District 2, they all have probably the same problems from Memphis down to Natchez.
Yeah.
I mean,
they could probably carve or trim out 30 to 40 districts.
Right.
I can't see messing with Clinton. I can't see messing with Pearl. And there are other examples like that. To me, Canton,
and those districts are big enough.
Yeah,
they're large.
That's right. But Canton, on the other hand, Canton has been a school district that's been riddled with improprieties and things going on within the school district and questionable test scores. And
my question is, in all of that, had and somebody brought it up, had the system worked when a failing district occurred, that they took over the district? Instead, in certain places, the state never came in to help in certain areas of town, and it was all political on why they didn't come.
Yeah, well, they typically go now. I mean, there's still schools right now. I mean, they're all over. The takeover's all over the state right now still.
But like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago,
yeah,
they didn't really weren't that aggressive, were they?
No. Well, it involves conservatorships. It involves people coming in, being able to take over the school. You have to have so many years of failing grades. Not meeting the financial needs of the school can do that as well. And there's several factors that can get you on that state takeover. And then they come in and basically teach you how to do it. And then they turn it back over to you. And then if you fail again, and it's just,
that's that.
Yeah, it's that.
Well, we need a better way. Cause I know in Canton, that's an issue. We all know that it is, it needs help. Period. I don't know how to say it any other way, but the whole town needs help, and they're working on that too. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back and talk some more with Jamie Creel right here on WYAB. Needs help, and they're working on that too. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back and talk some more with Jamie Creel right here.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Acme Pizza and Daiquiris at Fannin Mart on the Res is quickly becoming Rankin County's go-to spot for pizza, burgers, pasta, appetizers, daiquiris, and more. Try their famous Wheel of Flavor pizza. You can add up to 3 different specialty pizzas onto one pie, such as the Margarita, Sergeant Pepperoni, Acme Beet Buster, Pig, Pesto Chicken, the Old Mexico, the Supreme, or hey, just build your own custom pizza. Acme also has a full bar with 9 different frozen daiquiris to choose from. Open daily at 4 p.m. Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family? El Patrio Mexican Restaurant is calling your name. With locations in Flowood and Cross Gates, Brandon, El Patrio is the cozy, family-owned gym where great food meets great times. Enjoy El Patrio's signature margaritas and happy hour specials that keep their customers coming back for more. Indulge in their authentic Mexican dishes prepared with love and served in a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. Come to El Patrio and taste the traditions. El Patrio, where family, flavor, and fun come together.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond.
CBS News Brief. Flags at the White House are flying at half staff after the death of former Vice President Dick Cheney. Ashley Davis worked at the White House on the day of the 9/11 terror attacks.
He was the calming voice during that time, talking to the president, talking to FAA as we were calling down planes to make sure that we were clearing the airspace.
Dick Cheney was 84. President Trump looms large this election day. He's endorsed former Governor Andrew Cuomo or Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani in the New York City mayoral race. Mamdani cast his ballot today.
We are on the brink of making history in our city, on the brink of saying goodbye to a politics of the past.
CBS's Vicki Barker from the Foreign Desk with grim news on climate.
The UN reports global greenhouse gas emissions rose 2.3% to a new high in 2024, significantly overshooting its targets.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Ladies, tired of running on empty, sleepless nights, mood swings, stubborn weight, skin that has lost its glow? It is not just getting older. It is your body begging for help. Hey, y'all, I'm Morgan at Women's Wellness in Mississippi. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, we bring it all together. Hormone therapy, medical weight loss, and the latest, greatest aesthetic treatments like facials, lasers, Botox, and so much more. This is where wellness and beauty meet so that you can feel amazing inside and out. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, the best version of you is waiting right around the corner.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venables Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit venableglass.com.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
Remember, polls will be open till 7 p.m. tonight for those people that get a chance to vote, and you're on. And you need to go out and vote in these Justice Court judge race in Madison County, also the races that are going on in Rankin County and in Hinds County. And think about your legislators and who you need to put in there, because they also, although the Republicans have a supermajority currently, that could flip at any time. So go out and make sure you vote. I mean, still think a bunch of them are a bunch of rhinos. I think the rhinos are in charge, but that's another story for another day.
Chip, you've been following these races in Virginia and New Jersey, and what's your take on those?
Well, I believe that and I hate it that Cuomo's the guy, but Cuomo's going to be the guy. I think Republicans are going to do well, and I think Cuomo's going to be the next guy in New York, because it does not make sense to change that much. Well, I mean, we're talking about socialism.
I'm pulling for Mamdani. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
And the reason I am
okay
is because I think America needs a sneak peek of what that crap looks like. And New York's already fallen on its face. They might as well let it fall.
Well, I agree with that too. But see, the thing about New York falling is that's the population wise.
The state's 18 million, isn't it?
Okay. So you got
Something
population
like
wise. If those people leave New York and start spreading out throughout the country, they can take us over pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, they've done that in California. You
Right.
know, they put a sign up in Texas, all Californians welcome, just don't bring your politics.
Yeah. But I mean, That's the big thing about the Madami. And then, I mean, and basically we already have a version of that in a congressional district that Benny Thompson in, because everybody out there, you're waiting on food stamps. You're going, what am I going to do? You live in Section 8 housing. You're a slave to Benny because Benny controls everything in aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do to New York.
That's true.
I mean, if once we control your food, we've got you. We already control your money.
Yeah,
We can control your income. Now we're going to control your food.
Yeah.
And
have you ever thought about Tennessee? You know, a lot of people from California have moved out to Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
But you got Memphis and you got Nashville, the
Right.
two largest cities.
And two different worlds.
I know it, but they're both so Democrat. How can Tennessee be one of the reddest states in the union when you have two mega cities like that
Well,
that are just completely blue?
That's because the two blue cities don't vote.
Well,
I mean, that's what you get with Democrats. You give people who give up. They don't care. They do what the government tells them. 20% of them will go vote. 80% sit at home.
That's probably right.
And I mean, that's what.
If the bus comes by for us to get on to go vote, then we go vote.
They tell me I have to, I'm going.
Yeah.
If there's a chicken dinner and a bottle of beer, yeah, I'm on my way. I'll vote. But that is a real reality that people don't realize. And that's like today in this judge's race. You know, I feel like there's been there's been a lot of money spent, but I'd still say that less than 800 people will vote.
Wow.
Okay. And I think 800 would be a big number for that.
And you think Mitch is going to win?
I hope Mitch wins. That's who I'm pushing for. Just, I've known him all my life.
Yep.
And he's just a good guy. And
he's highly qualified.
Yeah. I want somebody qualified. And and the biggest thing kick against the girl is that Steen, Griffin, and Banks appointed her. And so what criteria do they use to do anything? When you look at it, okay, I'm going to select this girl to be the judge, and she's not a lawyer. She isn't a business person. She works in qualifying.
She's not a lawyer, but does she have a law degree?
No. Okay. And she works her job is basically to get people into Section 8 housing.
Okay.
I mean, and I don't understand why all these politicians when the politicians start getting behind the candidate that is not qualified, you have
Red
to
flag.
And then you look at Madison County and you go, how corrupt is the county? I mean, because when 400 people can go from Lake Caroline to the Madison County Supervisors meeting and say, we don't want something, and they say, we're going to do it anyway. You'll just have to sue us. And then when they didn't want the guy building out there by Deerfield, D.R. Horton building out by Deerfield, and all those people, another 300-400 people went in and said, we don't want this in our neighborhood. They said, sue us. I mean, there's something wrong with that picture.
Yeah, it is.
and then,
No
of
doubt
course,
about it.
and then you had justice court problems where there was 2 people fired for stealing $3,000 in the justice court. Meanwhile, the supervisors, Greg Higginbotham and all them, were involved in a check that was written for $2.7 million. There was 3 checks that added up to $2.7 million. And they said, "Oop, we gave it to the wrong person." And at first they said it was a cyber crime. Then later on, they came back and said it was a mistake. And the person that did the sending of the money, they got a raise, $8,000 raise. And not fired.
Somebody can give me 2.7 and I'll take that any day.
But I just sit there and look at that, and then you haven't heard anything else about it. Nobody's prosecuted anybody. They've said they've gotten some of the money back. Well, who'd you get it back from?
That's like that stealing of the money down there with the volleyball courts at Southern.
Okay, we got somebody on the phone. Let's see what we got. YUB, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. Y'all taking calls about your school choice?
Yes, please.
Okay. Want to walk through a couple things with you. I taught in Rankin County schools, and I'm going to give you a scenario. If you've got a kid who's at Jim Hill, and he's kind of, as the crow flies, close to Pearl, and he decides he wants to go to Pearl High School.
Okay.
What is the only stipulation to prevent him from doing that?
The the stipulation that prevents him from going is Pearl rejecting him.
On what basis?
They don't really have to have any. I mean, they say
Okay.
they're saying that they're going to have stipulations, but there's going to have to be criteria. They're I can't imagine these people just opening up the floodgates and allowing certain people's to come in, athletes, non-athletes, whatever the case may be. But in the past, if JPS said, okay, this kid cannot go, then he can't go. Now what they're wanting to propose is that district that he's coming from, which would be JPS, they can't hold the kid back. If Pearl accepts him into the district, then he's in, and then he would bring the $6,500 with him that the state allows.
Okay. My question would be, and I guess that's where the rubber meets the road, is what are those stipulations? For example, I am aware of academies that their main stipulation on receiving a student from anywhere is going to be how their behavior record is recorded. Were they written up? Were they suspended? Then they don't want an individual coming into that school that's going to be a behavior problem. And they could say, you've been in too many situations. We really don't want that here. And there you've got an actual statistical trail you can follow. That's going to be the rub, because if that kid at Jim Hill is a 5-star recruit, all of a sudden Pearl's got room for him.
Absolutely. Now, what's your name, sir?
Let's just go with Rick.
All right, Rick. Okay. So, all right, Rick, so you're in the school system as I was. So let me explain this to you. Over the last 10 years, what has transpired with the with the behavioral component. Okay. So these schools, especially schools who had issues with behavior, they used to suspend kids all the time for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, based on the fight, based on the severity of the incidents. Well, these schools start getting penalized for that. I'm going to be willing to bet you that there's very little behavioral issues in JPS, Canton, anywhere where you would think that there would be a lot of behavioral issues, because they're not documented, because they get docked for that and it affects their monies. So you're not going to have true documentation on these kids, whether they were behavioral issues or not. Now, they've also had the issue where, basically every kid passes. Okay. So their grades are going to show on paper that they can handle the academic stuff at Pearl, when they actually probably cannot handle it. So that's the issues you're going to get in receiving kids out of districts that are lower funded, that need the monies, that may fib on their reports, because, kids have to be in seat time for so many hours for them to be counted to get the monies for them.
Right. And I understand all the mechanics of that too, that you just mentioned. My only concern, and I see this, is if you have an individual parent or of a student who wants to gain access to Pearl, for example, and they are not completely at peace with what the criteria are for that individual to go to that school, then you're looking at a lawsuit. You discriminate. You discriminate.
That's what we've been. Yeah, that's what we've been saying all along. All right. So in the 1860s, you had the Civil War. In the 1960s, you had civil rights. If this school choice and they can choose and select who they want to come in and out of their districts, I'm telling you, 2060 is going to be segregation all over again. There's no way around it. People, can you imagine, Rick, the people of Pearl, if they let 20 of the worst kids out of JPS into their schools, athletes or not, let them into Pearl? The parents of Pearl separate school district are going to be outraged. Pearl doesn't want anybody messing with anything they have. Matter of fact, Clinton fought for so long the influx of Jackson moving in to all the apartments that were in Clinton. And they had a task force. The superintendent of Clinton, they had 3 or 4 people that would track tags coming in and out of the schools on a daily basis to make sure that if you deserved to go to Clinton, you went to Clinton. If you didn't, you were getting the hell out of there.
Right. And Flowood has the same problem, because there's apartment buildings and people are coming in, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll give you another example. When JPS just stopped playing athletics because of COVID, they weren't going to play anything. They just shut it all down. Now you've got this 5-star recruit who suddenly wants to go to Hartfield, and they quote scholarship him, and he's on campus. And guess what he brought with him? That culture.
He sure did.
We're gonna win a football championship. We're gonna beat the big schools. We're gonna beat Prep. We're gonna beat MRA. But what's happening in the classrooms now that you didn't have to deal with before?
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people send their kids to private schools for that protecting. You know, you get to protect them another 4 years until they go off to college. And then eventually when they get in the real world, there's no more protecting. But they're still trying to hold on to that. And you know, Chip and I both agree that this whole thing has not been well thought out. You know, at least they backed it down. So we are hearing to just public to public now. You know, we talked about the $350 million it cost the state of Mississippi day one if they allow public to private. But you know as well as I do, Rick, if you allow public to private, then all the private schools are going to do is up the tuition and take the $6,500 from that kid and then make it, you know, and they may scholarship him at $6,500, but everybody that's going to school there, they would get that $6,500. If it costs $10,000, they would just raise it up by another $6,500. They'd still be paying the same amount, and then the school would flourish, privatize education, and you know it's a mess, is what it is.
It's a lot of moving parts. But one thing you touched on that I think is a positive, it can be taken advantage of. Dyslexia is rampant all of a sudden. These kids can't read, and there's really nobody in the public school system that can help those kids, but there are in these academies.
They say there are. Okay. So, you know, they don't have to go by the accountability model, as you know, being were you in the public schools?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you know, the accountability model. I don't have to tell you that. I mean, that's the booger right there. You know, these private schools, if they're going to receive state funds, which is unconstitutional, to go to private schools, then you have an issue there in of itself that you have to take the accountability with it. They say, oh, we have reference-based testing. Well, that's not the same as state accountability, whether a kid passes or fails. You know, if he doesn't pass Algebra 1 or Biology 1 or English 2, then he cannot graduate high school. You don't have those such parameters in the private schools, which is, you know,
I am aware of that.
Yeah. And all these teachers have been pulling their damn hair out for 30 years, has been, you know, struggling to get by. And you know, they don't have all they've been doing is teaching to a test. And I understand private schools can probably teach the whole child better. And I get that. And it's all because of accountability. So if you're going to open up the private schools, either take the accountability off the public schools or put it on the private schools, just like the public.
But it is extremely complicated, and I've seen some bright spots. But you know, the old saying goes, when the camel gets his nose in the tent, then here we go.
Yeah.
And my question to you is, and both of y'all, do you feel that the legislators are informed enough to make this decision?
Absolutely not.
That's what I say.
100%. No way.
Well, let me ask you this, Rick. I mean, I know you're listening today, but I mean, are you for educational freedom or school choice?
It's complicated. You know, I feel like a politician on television going around the world to answer a question to avoid yes or no. There are components of education for a child that has a need that can be met possibly with this circumstance, but there's also some severe, huge pitfalls along the way.
Well,
you know, I don't think there's a complete yes, this is great. No, it's not. You know, Clay Edwards always says, if you don't like your school district, move.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you,
can't move.
That's right.
You know, but that may be your best option.
I will tell you this. Okay, you have, you know, right now you can go county to school districts based on needs. Like if one county meets your need. Now, granted, the school district you're leaving from would have to grant you that waiver, and they don't want to turn loose of that money. But that is open now. I mean, when I was the principal at Warren Central, we received kids from several counties because we had one of the few classrooms that could hold kids that had that specific need. And so they would actually bus that child in there, which is, you talking about some dollars busing the child in every day from another county. And but you do have those rights now to do that. And I have a special needs kid myself, and the school district that we're in right now does not meet the need, but we chose to stay where we are based on the safety and the lack of peer pressure from sex, drugs, and alcohol, to stay where we were in the small setting, that would be more beneficial for him in the long run, because he's so easily influenced, that we stayed where we were for that very reason.
Well, I've got a different perspective now. I've got grandchildren, one of which is 5.
Yep.
And I can tell you, after living in the belly of the beast, he will never attend a public school.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I get it. And it's tough, man. And it's a tough decision. And, Chip and I both are for kids with needs, getting them
get them whatever they need.
Get them whatever they need. But you're opening up a whole wasp nest, hornet's nest, whatever you say, when you start allowing them to go for other reasons.
And you need to redo this thing to where the money starts with the teachers and works its way up to the top, not top down. It just gets filtered down to nothing. And teachers get shortchanged. Okay.
Interesting stuff. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you,
appreciate you, Rick. Have a great day, man.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Chip Matthews Show with Jamie Krill on WYAB. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Chip Matthews Show.
1039 WYAB.
At Bank of Yazoo, we believe that common sense makes for better banking. That's why we've taken our array of checking accounts and simplified them for you, boiling down features and benefits to create our New You, Achieve You, Benefit You, and Protect You checking accounts. Ready to discover how simple is better? Talk with us today. Bank of Yazoo, Bank of You. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
For over 15 years, A1 Gear and Auto has been your hometown specialist for your auto repair and maintenance needs. From brake repair to placement, to radiators, engines, starters, alternators, heat, and AC water pumps, and more, A1 will get your vehicle back up and running and on the road and in a timely manner. A1 is one of the only shops in the metro that specializes in rear differentials, rear ends, and rings and pinions. Call today to set up an appointment, or if you got questions, at 601-939-1060. A1 Gear and Auto, your hometown vehicle specialist.
Looking to elevate your ride? Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck have you covered. From rugged bumpers to sleek step bars, Weston's top-notch accessories will transform your truck into a head turner. And at Rick's Pro Truck, we specialize in custom installations that bring your vision to life. Visit us today for expert advice and unbeatable deals. Weston Automotive and Rick's Pro Truck, where your truck's potential comes alive. Weston and RPT. Trucks live here.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit AmericansForProsperity.org. Be a part of positive change at AmericansForProsperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Antique Mall of the South has 14,000 square feet of pristine, clean floor space. Home to beautiful, timeless antique treasures. Antique Mall of the South is open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. Check them out online at antiquemallofthesouth.com or go to the Antique Mall of the South Facebook page. You can also read the dozens of 5-star reviews online. Come see for yourself at Antique Mall of the South in Ridgeland. Now open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. That's Antique Mall of the South, Highway 51 in Ridgeland.
Doctor, the AC doctor, what's your diagnosis? My whole house was hot as a fever. Now my house is frozen, cause my air conditioning's on. Doctor, my AC's broken. Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
The AC Doctors is your one-stop provider for air conditioning and heating installation, service, and repair. Contact us for money-saving repairs and lower energy bills.
doctor, doctor, the AC doctor. Heal my house, bless my soul.
Google the AC Doctors and get some relief today. TheACDR.com.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
And that was a great call there on School Talk about education, freedom, school choice. As we all know, today is voting day. That's so important to be a part of the voting system when you can. So get out and vote. A lot of people call me from Canton and say, hey, I want to go and vote for Mitch. I go, well, we're not voting for Mitch in Canton. He lives in another district. We don't have anything to vote for today. And that's good for a change in Canton. But anyway, you got to vote for District 24 and you got to vote in the judges race. And then there's a few races out in Rankin County we're watching, and also all over Hinds County. Get out and vote because you got to vote. That's just what you have to start doing. People don't vote enough. And then you wind up we get good legislators in there, and maybe we won't have to be talking about fixing something that is broke, but you don't want to make it worse. I mean, that's what I see coming out of the Education Choice, the Education Freedom Act. And they want to sell it as you're a taxpayer and that money can follow you. And that would be great.
Yeah.
But that ain't the program.
Listening to Rick's call, I can see, like he said, he has grandkids and, seeing the underbelly of the beast, his kids will never go to public schools. And that's unfortunate. And there's some really good public schools out there that can provide an education way yonder better than some private schools. But
give me a quick answer on how do we educate the politicians?
Town halls, obviously one-on-ones are not working.
I mean, we need people that are knowledgeable to sit down and tell them.
Yeah, I mean, they need to have open forums and town hall meetings with their constituents, and people show up and inform them their concerns. I mean, I don't know of any legislators right now that have ever been in public school education.
Wow. That's pretty impressive when you think about that. Their
wife may have been.
They're trying to make a decision based on something they weren't a part of, and they're in their mind they're just going, my mama had to pay, my daddy had to pay, I pay taxes. I want my taxes to go to the private school. Yeah. That's what they're thinking.
You have a couple school board attorneys that are in there.
Yeah.
But and a couple spouses, but I don't know of anybody that's in the legislature that was in public education.
Thank you, Jamie Creel. You'll be back next week, I hope.
Yep.
And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on WY8B.